Hey gang, and welcome back. This week I'm playing Adam's Selvala Heart of the Wilds deck. Adam is playing his Rakdos Lord of the Riots deck. Fred is playing Gaddock Teague, and Dylan is playing Sliver Overlord. For openers, I kept a hand with 2 Snow-Covered Forests, Skyshroud Claim, Wirewood Lodge, Terastodon, Wild Growth, and Soul Ring. Fred's hand had 2 Forests, Plains, Savannah, Fauna Shaman, Linvala Keeper of Silence, and Python Needle. Adam's opener had Urborg, Dark Ritual, Snow-Covered Mountain, Necropotence, Mana Crypt, Toxic Deluge, and Polluted Delta. Dylan kept Armillary Sphere, 2 forests, a mountain, an island, a swamp, and a Vivid Grove. Fred won the die roll and started us off. For his first turn, Fred plays a Savannah and then casts Birds of Paradise. Adam explodes on turn 1 playing an Urborg, tapping it to cast Dark Ritual, then casting Necropotence with his 3 floating black mana. He then casts Mana Crypt, tapping it for 2 mana and casting Charcoal Diamond before taking 4 damage and drawing 4 cards at the end of his turn with Necropotence. My turn sees Snow-Covered Forest come into play and I cast a Soul Ring before passing to Dylan. Dylan's turn has Vivid Grove come into play and he passes to Fred. Fred plays a Forest and has a timely Reclamation Sage come into play, targeting Adam's Necropotence. In response, Adam chooses to take 20 life and draw 20 cards at the end of his next turn. To the dismay of the entire table, Adam does not take damage from Mana Crypt on his upkeep. Adam's turn has Polluted Delta come into play, and he cracks it, taking 1 to find Badlands. He then casts Grey Merchant of Asphodel, draining each of us for 2 and gaining 6 life. Moving to the end of his turn, Adam gets to draw 20 cards, and has to pitch down to 7. A bunch of goodies go into the graveyard, including Fleshbag Marauder, Massacre Worm, Noxious Gearhulk, and some other good stuff. For my turn, I play my second Snow-Covered Forest, and then cast Skyshroud Claim, finding 2 more Snow-Covered Forests. I tap one of those forests to cast Wild Growth on the second forest, and pass to Dylan. Dylan plays a mountain for his turn, and then casts Armillary Sphere, and passes to Fred. Fred plays a plains for his turn, and then casts Gaddock Teague, and follows it up with a Python Needle, naming Selvala Heart of the Wilds. Having shut down a possible turn 3 Living Death, and a bunch of ramp from me, Fred passes to Adam. On Adam's upkeep, he loses 3 to Mana Crypt. Adam's land for turn is Urborg, Tomb of Yawgmoth, which is kinda nice with the other Urborg on the field. Adam then remarks how unhappy he is that Fred's Gaddock Teague is on the field, and casts Grim Tutor, losing another 3 life. Whether it was the card he tutored for or not, Adam then casts Mana Vault and passes to me. For my turn, I play a Snow-Covered Forest, and then tap out to cast Terastodon, choosing Python Needle, Mana Vault, and Charcoal Diamond as my targets. Dylan's off to a bit of a slow start, and he plays Evolving Wilds, cracking it to find a Plains, and passes to Fred. Fred plays a Forest for his turn, and then casts Linvala, Keeper of Silence. He moves to combat, swinging his 3/3 Elephant at Dylan. With nothing else, he passes. On his upkeep, Adam takes 1 step closer to his grave, and takes another 3 damage from Mana Crypt. Adam then plays Nixthos, trying to Nix, and taps Mana Crypt to cast Grim Monolith. He rounds out his turn by casting an Expedition map, and passing to me. For my turn, I play a Snow-Covered Forest, cast Selvala Heart of the Wild, and then move to combat, swinging Terastodon at Fred. Fred chump blocks with Reclamation Sage, and I pass my turn to Dylan. Dylan plays a Swamp for his turn, and then casts Leeching Sliver before cracking Armillary Sphere to get 2 basics to his hand. Fred plays a Plains for his turn, and then casts Fauna Shaman before moving to combat. Fred swings Linvala at Adam for 3. With nothing else, he passes to Adam. Adam, at the end of Fred's turn, cracks Expedition map to go find Cabal Coffers. Unfortunately, on Adam's upkeep, he doesn't take 3 damage from Mana Crypt. During his first main phase, he plays Cabal Coffers. He then uses Mana Crypt to tap Cabal Coffers, generating 5 black mana. In addition, he taps Grim Monolith, which brings his total to 5 black mana and 3 colorless. Using 1 black and 1 colorless, Adam casts Animate Dead, targeting Noxious Gearhulk enters the battlefield and gets its trigger, killing Gaddock Teague and giving Adam 2 life. Tapping some additional mana, and thanks to Noxious Gearhulk clearing the way, Adam is able to cast Rise of the Dark Realms. Unfortunately for Fred, he forgets about Massacre Worm. In response to the spell, he flashes an Aven Mind Sensor, thinking to prevent Adam from tutoring. With so many creatures coming into the play, Adam has to carefully stack his triggers, with Massacre Worm coming off first. The totals are 3 for Fred, which means 6 life, and 1 for Dylan, costing him 2. Next on the stack is Fleshbag Marauder. Fred sacrifices his Elephant token, taking 2 damage, and I sacrifice Selvala, letting her go to my command zone. Adam chooses to sacrifice Grey Merchant of Asphodel, which to anyone watching should know that this is not a good sign. Next up comes Fred's Reclamation Sage that Adam took, and he blows up my Soul Ring. And last but not least, Overseer of the Damned takes care of Terastodon. Adam remembers the second trigger from Overseer of the Damned, but unfortunately miscounts and thinks he gets 6 tokens as opposed to the 5 that he should have gotten. Since it would seem that Adam's Selvala deck is only able to draw lands, I draw another Snow-Covered Forest, play it, and then recast my commander before passing to Dylan. Dylan's turn has an island come into play, and he's finally able to cast his commander, who enters the battlefield and draws him a card thanks to Selvala. Fred's turn sees Windswept Heath come into play, and he cracks it, taking 1 to go find Canopy Vista. Fred then recasts Gaddock Teague and passes to Adam. Adam once again dodges a bullet and doesn't take any damage from Mana Crypt. He drops Scalding Tarn for his land for turn and moves straight to combat. Overseer of the Dam comes flying in at me, Noxious Gearhulk smashes into Fred, and 6 2/2 zombies go towards Dylan. As a result, I take 5, Fred takes 4, and Dylan chump blocks one of the tokens to take 10 damage. During Adam's second main phase, he cracks Scalding Tarn to go find a mountain. He taps Nykthos Shrine to Nyx, naming black, and generates 10 black mana. And then tapping his mountain in Badlands, he uses some of the black mana to cast Rakdos, Lord of Riots. But as any Rakdos player knows, once Rakdos is on the field, the party's just beginning, and Adam uses some of his mana to cast Myojin of the Night Reach. With the spirit fresh on the field and barely any time for Adam to put a divinity counter on it, he yanks it off, forcing us all to discard our hands. Adam then casts Imperial Seal with some of his remaining mana to put a card on top and lose 2 life. With nothing else, he passes to me. I'm fortunate and top deck Tooth and Nail, but I'm put in an interesting conundrum. I'm unable to cast Tooth and Nail for as long as Gaddock Teague's on the field. Fred lets me know that if I attack, he'll block with Gaddock Teague, killing his commander and sending him to the command zone. But the problem then becomes I no longer have enough mana to cast Tooth and Nail because I require Selvala to be able to tap for that extra mana. This leaves me with very few options, and as a result, I don't attack, I don't cast anything, and I pass to Dylan. Dylan draws for his turn, and then moves to his first main phase, and unfortunately we miss out on a misplay, but he activates Sliver Overlord, going to find Gale Rider Sliver. He casts the 1/1 with flying that grants all their slivers flying, and moves to combat. Dylan swings his beefy 7/7 into Adam, and Adam chooses to block with Rakdos rather than take the damage. With nothing else, he passes to Fred. Fred draws for his turn and moves straight to combat, swinging Linvala into Adam for 3 damage. At the end of Fred's turn, Adam taps Cabal Coffers to untap Grim Monolith. Thanks to a lucky roll, Adam takes 3 more damage from Mana Crypt and starts his turn. Adam wastes no time and moves straight to combat, swinging Erebos, Reclamation Sage, Fleshbag Marauder, the 2 Elephant tokens, Oblivion Sower, and Myojin of Night's Reach at Dylan, while swinging 5 of the zombie tokens at Fred. Fred opts to take the full 10 to the face, and Dylan doesn't have enough blockers to prevent himself from dying. Having done damage to an opponent, Adam is able to recast Rakdos, Lord of the Riots, and then cast Phyrexian Reclamation, which isn't going to do him a lot of good considering how low his life is. With nothing else, he passes to me. At the end of Adam's turn, Fred casts Swords to Plowshares on his Gaddock Teague, so if I draw a land, I can cast Tooth and Nail Entwined. Unfortunately, we're not that lucky and I don't find a land, so instead I cast Tooth and Nail, but I don't entwine it. I choose to take the option where I find creatures from my library and put them into my hand, and I find Phyrexian Dreadnought and Kozilek, Butcher of Truth. With nothing else, I pass to Fred and hope he draws a board wipe. With all hope resting on Fred's shoulders, he draws a Null Rod and effectively whiffs. He casts the Null Rod and passes to Adam. On Adam's upkeep, we all wait with bated breath to see if Mana Crypt is going to kill him, and the results are... he lives. Adam doesn't even need to play a land or cast a spell in order to kill Fred and I, and moves to combat, swinging enough creatures at both of us to kill us. Game review time. Oh my gosh, how satisfying would it have been had Adam killed himself with his own Mana Crypt? That's what I was hoping for so badly. I got to try out Selvala Heart of the Wilds, thanks to Adam loading me the deck, but it didn't seem as explosive as he made it sound. It probably also wasn't helped by the fact that I drew about 1 billion snow-covered forests. Adam's Rakdos deck was a threat as always, and a turn 1 Dark Ritual into Necropotence is the real deal. He played it pretty fast and loose with his life, but he still got there in the end, so I gotta give him kudos. Fred's Hate Bear deck in the form of Gaddock Teague seemed to hinder more than help us in this game, and Adam was able to work around it quite flawlessly. There were also a few misplays on Fred's part, like the Aven Mind Sensor into the Massacre Worm, but on the whole, who knows how it would have changed the game. Dylan's Sliver deck unfortunately didn't do very much, and he kept a really bad opening hand. It's unfortunate that the time he actually did do something with his deck, it was a misplay because of Linvala being on the field. Please note that I honestly try really hard to make sure that there are no mistakes while filming these games, but sometimes things slips through. Hopefully you guys can look past these little flubs and enjoy the game for what it is. 4 people having fun with a great format. Please be sure to tune in every Monday at 11 AM Eastern Standard Time for a guaranteed video, with another video popping up sometime during the week. You can also follow me on Twitter at MTGMudsta, and as of this week, I'm hoping to stream a game or 2 of EDH a week at twitch.tv/MTGMudsta. This video is brought to you in part by support from my Patreons. If you're looking for a way to help the channel, please consider viewing the link below or in the About section. And as always, please be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more.